to phospholipid membranes because there's a hydrocarbon part of the phospholipid membrane, which is right here. And there's also a polar head. So the polar head likes water. This part is like this olive oil, or like this vegetable oil that's sitting on top here. They do not mix together. So this allows these phospholipids to assemble into membranes. And I will show you how this works. So remember how water is attracted to each other? So this part of the phospholipid, this circle right here, can everyone see that circle? Is the charged head of the phospholipid. I'm going to draw a few of them. And they all like to congregate to each other. So I'm going to draw some heads down here too. Now, like this oil likes to conjugate together, the tails are like this oil, and they all like to be towards each other. So naturally, they're going to face each other. And this is going to allow us to form the outer membrane of our cells, right here. It's what's called amphipathic, which means that there's a diverse way, there's a hybrid way of these phospholipids between having a charged head and a non-charged tail. So the tails want to be together, and the charged heads want to be together. And that allows us to form these waterproof kind of outer shells of our cells, which hold all the stuff in, and doesn't allow water to go through because of this inner.
Apparently, if you just put a bunch of phospholipids together in like water, they'll form a membrane. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, that's what
We just did that.
Okay.
Carbohydrates are also an energy source, and they're things like glucose, lactose, ribose, which makes up DNA. Well, RNA rather. And they're also energy storage, but they're not as good as lipids for energy storage because they need water around them.
Yeah. Sugars are energy. When you eat rice or different types of carbohydrate like bread, or when you eat sugar, sugar and bread are the exact same thing, literally. It's just that one is sweet because it's already broken down. So bread and different type of carbohydrates are just lots of little sugars all bonded to each other. And this eventually turns into, in our bodies, are we going to get there?
What?
Yeah, do we have a slide on ATP?
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, chirality.
Why is this there? Okay. Well, anyway, carbohydrates get turned into a molecule called ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate.
That's next after this.
That's next after this. Let's go back to this chirality.
Yeah. So the carbon bonds are broken through a whole really complex process called cellular respiration, and basically produces ATP, which can be used all over the body to drive chemical reactions.
You know those little like Chinese firecracker things where you have two little strings and then there's this little kind of gunpowder in the middle and you pull them and it goes like pop, like that? That's kind of like ATP. It has all these phosphate groups on it, and when you take one of the phosphate groups off, see right here? There's all this energy. There's all these electrons in that oxygen that we were talking about. And a whole bunch of energy is released after we do that. So that's why sugar is actually converted in this molecule into a very, very, very long process that we're not going to do. So anyway, let's talk about this real quick. I don't know why this is here, but I have a question for you guys. These two molecules that Jess and I just built, they look pretty similar, right? They have a blue one and a red one. Blue one, pretty similar. The thing is, everyone get your hand out. Try and superimpose your hands. Can't do it. You literally cannot put one hand over the other. If we go like this, we can, but that's not superimposing them because they're facing opposite directions. So, interesting fact, just random fact. Have you guys ever wondered, like, you know, when we're watching, like, what's that show, Breaking Bad? There's all these meth labs everywhere. People are synthesizing meth. Well, why do you never hear of anyone, like, synthesizing cocaine? We wonder. We're like, Well, people make crack, but that's a completely different story. So, the reason is is because only one isomer, essentially only one isomer, which is the D isomer of cocaine, is active in our bodies. Or is it the L? It's L, right? Can't remember.
Amino acids are L, I think carbohydrates are D.
Okay, so it's L. So that means that when a chemist is trying to make cocaine, they get what's called a racemic mixture. They get half L and half D. So that would suck because that's only like half purity. So that wouldn't sell for very much. Whereas the plant has an enzyme that we were talking about that allows the synthesis to have the same chirality of every time. So one of these is active, one of these is not. When we try and make it, we only get both of them. The plant